you are most welcome. Yeah, it's Henry, the computer guy, and in today's video, we are going to be working out UNEB subsidiary ICT 2014. But our main focus is going to be on paper 3, and specifically, we are going to be working out Microsoft Excel. So what we are going to do first is to create a folder onto our desktop that is going to be holding our file. And how are we going to do this? We're going to be locating any free space onto the desktop. Right click onto our mouse, come to the option that says new, then we select a folder. And having selected the folder, of course, we have to give it a name. I'm going to be giving it UNEB at 2014, and specifically it will be paper 3. And that is our name for the folder. So you can also be able to drag this folder to any location of your choice or even into another folder if you feel you want. The next thing is to pass through the question that we are going to be following throughout our entire video. And I've already designed this question, so let's open it and see. So having opened our question, this is how it looks like. And they're saying that as a treasurer to your school debating club, use a spreadsheet software to prepare the budget below. Save your work as your name and personal number. So we are going to be creating a file. Then we save that file as our name and personal number. So for my case, I will use Henry001, but for your case, you can use any name and any number of your choice. And this is the information we are going to be entering into that file. And later we'll be following these questions below to make the changes together. So what I'm going to do is to come to the search option here, then I type Excel. And having typed Excel, I can open any version that I want to work with. And finally, this is how my software will open for me. We have the columns, we have the rows, we have the tabs, and so many other items. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to save my file into the folder that I've created onto the desktop. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to be coming to the option that says File. And having clicked on File, I'm going to be choosing the option that says Save. And after clicking on Save, of course, I have to locate where my folder is. And remember, we said we created it onto the desktop. So I'm going to be selecting the desktop from this section. And having selected desktop, I'm going to look through all the folders and files that are here. So I'll be selecting UNEB 2014 paper 3. Then I'll select it and click onto the option that says Open. Having clicked on open, of course, I have to give my file a name. So I'm going to go to the option that says file name, grab whatever is there, then I'll put my name, let's say Henry001 as my name and personal number. I'll click onto the option that says save. And having clicked save, the name is going to appear at the top here. So now I think we are now good to go. We can now enter our data and make the changes together. So let me make this one a little bit small by clicking onto this section, and also open the question. I make it a little bit small so that we can see both of them on the same screen, and we enter the data very fast, then we make the changes. So this one is a little bit up to ending at key. So what we are going to do is to enter this data the way it appears here, then we make the changes together. So I'm saying that from A1 to G1, all these cells have been merged into one. So that is what we are going to do first and put in the heading. So I'm going to come and click here, then select from A up to D. Then I come and click on to the option that says merge. But I have to use the center option because even my heading here is in the center. So I'll come and say merge and center. So I can now type my heading. For example, debating club of year party budget. So that is the heading. So we can as well come and do other stuffs. So when you come here, this is A2, and we have the serial number. A2, we have the serial number. So we can put the item. We can also work on the quantity. Then we can, quantities in kilograms, we open a bracket and put kgs, then close the bracket. But you see, it's now past the column that we have. So we have to enlarge the column a little bit by dragging it to the right a little bit there. Then we come and put in the unit price. And the unit price is in shillings. So we open the bracket, we put in SHS, we close the bracket. It's also past the column, so we come and enlarge it a little bit there. Then we come and also put the total cost. The total cost is also in shillings. We open our bracket and put the shillings, then we close it. Then we have the discount. And we can also enlarge this a little bit. Then lastly, we put the discounted price. So this has been the labels. So we are now including in the data given there. So we have one, we have two. So I'm going to be selecting these two values. Then I get my fill handle to fill the rest of these other cells to get all the numbers done instead of writing them one by one. So I'll come and say 3, 4, 5, and I think they end on 5. If you also have over 10,000 or 1,000, you can as well be able to drag them. They'll be given to you. I can as well make this one a little bit smaller, just like that. So let me put the item. For example, the first one is salt. The second is wheat flour. It's wheat flour. But you see that it's past our columns. I'll enlarge the column a little again. Then we put in the beef. After the beef, we have the fresh beans. We have the fresh beans. Then lastly, we have the fresh peas. Then we have the quantities. We can enter them as 30. Number one as 23. We have 55. We have 23. We have 12. Then we have the unit prices. 1,000 as the first one. Then we have 3,500. We have 7,000. We have 2,000. Then finally, we have 2,500. You have to be very careful such that you don't make mistakes. And I think this is the information we have. So we can now enlarge our file, then even the question, such that we can see what we are going to be following. So having entered that data into our file, we have to follow these questions, and they're telling us that we have to find the total cost per item. So let's go back to our work. Let me put the borders the way we have them onto our work. By selecting the whole of our work up to number 8, then come to borders, come and say, I want to put all borders. You can even change, let's say, the font to Times New Roman if the question tells you to do that. If you want to change the size again, you can as well be able to do that. Let me make them a little bit bigger. Quantity, let me do this a little. Let me do this a little. Let me also increase this one. Let me also increase this. And finally, we have the discounted price. And that is the information we are having now. So we have to find the total cost. But remember, we have the quantity and we have the unit price. So what we are going to do is to multiply these two values. So what I'm going to do is to come to the column for total cost. I put my equal sign, getting the 30 times the what? The 1,000, but you don't put the values, you put the location where the value is. But what I'm going to do is to use the product. So I'm going to say equals product, then I'll come and double click on it. Then I select the two values I want to multiply. Then I'll press enter. And that is the answer they have given me. So for the rest of all these other cells, I'm going to be using the fill handle to drag down and get the rest of the answers. They want us to find the discount, but they have given us that it is 1.3% of the total cost, and we have got the total cost. So we are going to be using that percentage. So there are two different ways we can find this. For example, I can put my equal sign. I type the percentage they have given me, 1.3% times the total cost that we have got. Then enter. It gives us the prices. Sorry, it gives us the discounts the way we have them here. And another way, which is actually professional, is that let me first wrap this one and do it in a different way that is professional. I can come here, write my label, which is discount. Then I can put the 1.3% into this cell. Then remember, it is not having the 0. We can reduce to that as 1.3, can remove one decimal place. That is what we have. Then we can do it in a professional way using what we call the absolute cell referencing. This is the cell which is C8. We have to make it absolute so that we can also get the discounted for all these other total costs that we are having. So let me come to the column for the discount. Then I'll type my equal sign. And having typed that, I'll come and select where 1.3 is. That is C and 8. But remember, I told you I have to make this one absolute, such that if someone drags the formula, it will only be working with this 1.3, but changing the different total costs. If you don't make it absolute, remember, it will be keeping on dropping down to the next cells. But remember, these ones are empty, so you'll be getting 0 times this, 0 times this, 0 times this. So we make it absolute. After selecting it, we come onto our keyboard, press function 4 to put the dollar signs for us. And finally, they have come. Then times the total cost. So press enter, it will give us the same answers the way we had them in the beginning. That is it when you're using the absolute cell referencing. Then let's come back to the question and see. They're telling us that we should also find the discounted price. And remember, we have the discount and we have the total cost. So they gave us a discount of this. So we have to subtract it from the total cost to get the discounted price. So I'm going to be coming into the column for the discounted price. I'll put my equal sign, come and click where the total cost is minus the discount. Then press enter. So this is what we are going to be paying. So for the rest of the others, I'm going to be dragging the formula to the rest of the cells, and I think that is okay. So let's look at the question again and see. So they're telling us that represent the items with their respective discounted prices on a pie chart. Save it on another sheet. That means that we are going to be we can do it here, then later we take it to the sheet 2. So what we are going to do is select those items we are going to put on our pie chart, and it has to be something against something. So they told us the discounted price, and we are also going to be using the items. For example, which item and with its respective discounted price. That is what we are going to work with. So I have to select more than one item, and I'll begin with the items. So I'm going to be selecting the items up to a fresh piece. Then I'll hold down my control button, come to this other section, and also select the discounted what prices. So all the 2 items are now selected, and they are going to be appearing onto our pie chart. So for us to put a pie chart, we are going to come to the option that says insert. Having clicked on insert, we are going to go to this section for the charts. Then we pick pie chart. So you can as well work with a 2D chart or 3D chart. But for my case, I'm going to work with a 3D chart. And finally, this is our chart. Of course, it is already having even the title. It is even having the key here. So you can as well have it in the same way. But remember, the question told us that we should take it to another sheet. So what I'm going to do is to cut the pie chart from this section and put it on sheet 2. Let me just click on it. I select it, then right click and say cut. And after cutting it, I'll come and click on sheet 2. Then I can paste it here by pressing on paste. So finally, our chart is here. So that is the question that they asked us to do. Now they're telling us that insert your name and personal number as a footer. So let's go back to our first sheet. Then we insert our name and personal number as a footer. How are we doing that? For example, we can come and say down here we have the different sections, page layout. So I'm going to be selecting the page layout. When I come and click on the page layout, it is going to give me this information in this format. Then I can scroll. For example, at the top I can put the header either on the left hand side, in the middle, or on the right. Then I can scroll down and put the footer section. For example, scroll down a little up to when you go to the footer. So the footer is always put here. I can put it on the left, on the center, or on the right. So the question was not specific where we are putting it. So I can put the name and personal number wherever I feel I want. I'm going to put it in the middle. For example, let's say Henry, let's say 001. So I'll put it there. And having done that, I'm going to come back up I click in space, then come back onto this section that says no more. So it will take me back. But remember, this information is going to be broken into two. You see this line? It shows you where your page will be passing. That means that when you print this work, this section is going to be on its own page, and also this on its own page. Let me see what the question says again. They're saying that you have to print your work. But remember, I told you when you print this work, it's going to be divided into two. We have to make it appear on one sheet. For example, I can come to the page layout. I can come and say orientation. I choose the orientation to landscape. That means that it is going to be extended a little bit here. Or you can as well keep on reducing the size of the columns to make it a little bit smaller, such that you can even remain in the portrait option if you feel you want to work with that one. And that is it for now. So if you want to print this one, of course, we'll come to the option that says file, come and say print, and this information will be coming out of the printer. How many copies? You also come and choose the printer you're going to work with. Then the different options are many here that you can work with. And finally, click on print. Remember, we also have on another sheet, we also have the chart. You can also come and print this chart by clicking on it. Then after you come to the option that says print, then of course it will be given to you out of the printer. And I think that is where the question stops from. So thank you for being such a good audience. If you're new to my channel, please help me and click the subscribe button. Bye bye. I sign out.